Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video I want to give you a quick update about current market situation as usual on Monday. So let's have a look. Okay, let's start with Bitcoin as usual. Of course the first thing to discuss here is this red candle here, which happened today. If we measure this movement, that's 10% drop, I think, roughly, yeah, around 10%. Bit unexpected. Of course, as usual, this took all altcoins with it. If we look at CoinGecko, just refresh that quickly. The market is recovering now, but we were actually below $2 trillion for a while. And a lot of alts dipped, well, Bitcoin, Ether, Cardano, they all dipped around 10% or so. While smaller cap altcoins, they, as usual, dipped much more than that, 15-20%. Luckily, everything seems to be recovering already, so that's a good sign. But of course, that slowed down slightly the expected recovery we had after that bigger dip we experienced only about a couple of weeks ago. So, what's happening at the moment? Well, we had Golden Cross on the 14th of September, a week ago, as expected, or almost a week ago. Since then, it seems like I was actually wrong in my last video, because in the previous video I discussed the possibility of, or the likelihood of Bitcoin going down after the Golden Cross. And we looked at a few instances of Golden Cross happening in the past, where actually shortly after, on the day of Golden Cross and shortly after, Bitcoin went down, and then we had some sideways movement. This time it was different. On the day of the Golden Cross, on the 14th, and the day after, we actually went up. It wasn't a huge movement. If we measure that, it was about 8.5% or so. And then we had a few days of literally nothing. Sideways movement with actually very little variance in between, sort of bouncing in about $2,000 range, if that. Maybe even just $1,000. And then today we had this quite substantial drop. This drop, however, doesn't really change much. I mean, we went as low as 42,500. We are still above our 20-week SMA, which is the purple line on the chart. But interestingly, if we look at the other bull market support level, which is 21-week EMA, which is very similar measurement, but it puts more focus on the more recent weeks. It gives more attention to the price in the more recent weeks rather than older prices. And this is this sort of mint green line here. We can see that actually those weeks here, and today either touched that line or almost touched it, or this one actually went quite a bit below. It was somewhere halfway between 21-week EMA and 20-week SMA. So, is this the test of the 20-week SMA? Is this the test of Bitcoin support level? I think it's quite possible. Again, it all depends on the exchange you look at. I have prices here from Coinbase, so as we can see, those weeks were slightly above that level. On some other exchanges, they may well have touched these lines or go slightly below them. So there is pretty good chance that this actually may be our test of the support band, and if that's true, then well, that would indicate that the only way is up from now. If we zoom out a bit and go to, so that was drop at the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020. If we then, let's zoom out a little bit more. If we look at the last month or month and a half, so this part of the chart here, that's not too dissimilar to what we had here in early to mid 2020, or then later here when we had test of 20-week SMA. So of course this is not going to repeat itself exactly. Also, we had this massive drop here caused by the start of the pandemic, where Bitcoin dipped as low as, well, below $4,000. So this, at least to some degree, fueled that move up afterwards. But there's certainly some similarities here. And I think the next few days, maybe next week or 2 weeks, will be crucial to establishing whether we are likely to start going up now, or does Bitcoin need to test that support band a few more times. And if it goes below it, well, then of course that would probably result in another couple of months of bearish sentiment in the market. So what I'm trying to say is that essentially next couple of weeks, I think, will be absolutely decisive to what Bitcoin does and what, as a result, what the whole market does. I think there is high likelihood that this was it, and we may just go up from now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar happening again. So yeah, it can still go both ways. Also, if we look at dollar currency index, that had a couple of really strong days, and in general it's been on a move up since early September. Generally, when dollar performs well, Bitcoin doesn't do so great, and the other way around. So what we would like to see ideally for Bitcoin to go up is something similar to what we've seen here in mid to late August. As you can see, we have first red candle here, which may be an indication of trend reversal. We shall see, but this is certainly another indicator that's worth looking at if you want to see what Bitcoin is likely to do next. ETH, as expected, well, it got hit today as well. It was actually trading below below $3,000 for a bit. But other than that, it's been going sideways for a while. It seems to be in that reaccumulation phase here. I think ETH, well, actually, if you cancel this peak right here, ETH has been doing pretty much nothing since early August. Yes, we had that move to $4,000 here, but that was only for about a week or so, and that was then quickly wiped out. Other than essentially we're bouncing somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500. So I think this is good accumulation level for ETH. Historically, ETH doesn't tend to do very well against Bitcoin in Q4 towards the end of the year. It may do okay against dollar, but it tends to bleed against Bitcoin. So we'll see how it goes this year. If Bitcoin goes up, it may be a good opportunity to then move some of the profits to ETH, because as usual, first Bitcoin goes up, then usually ETH follows. So we'll see how it will pan out, but yeah, I expect ETH to go largely sideways for the next couple of months. Maybe very slowly start climbing up, but I would be surprised if we see sudden parabolic move up. Essentially, I expect Bitcoin to go up first and then ETH. ADA, well, again, pretty much what we discussed that could potentially happen did happen. We had a release of smart contracts on the 12th of September, which is here. And we can see that we had this really nice build up in price. And in fact, we hit new all-time high at $3.10 in the days and weeks ahead of release of smart contracts. And then then we had this drop, of course, and then a bit of hesitance, and the price started going down a bit. We were expecting this to happen. Well, I certainly expected this to happen. I know that a lot of people were saying that ADA will go to $4 or $5 or whatever straight after the release of smart contracts. I think that was always very unlikely to happen. It's a classic example of buy the rumor, sell the news. And frankly, I expect ADA to go sideways for quite a while now, possibly for the rest of this year and maybe even early next year. I expect it to stay in that sort of $2 to $2.50 range, possibly going up to $3, especially if the market starts picking up. Then of course price of ADA is likely to start picking up again. or as well, but I don't expect it to hit any new all-time highs, or certainly nothing that would be particularly exciting. By exciting, I mean ADA hitting $4-5 and above. I expect that to come, but I expect that to come in 2022 and potentially quite far into 2022, summer 2022. I think that's where we can expect ADA to really start performing well. Until then, I think a lot is to do with essentially whole Cardano ecosystem proving its worth, and I think that will result in mainly sideways movement, which means that this is pretty good level for accumulation. If you believe that ADA will go to around $10 in this market cycle, and I certainly believe that's very likely to happen, anything between $8 and $15, but around $10, I think that's most likely to happen. Well, that's still good, almost 5x from the current price, 4 or 5x quite comfortably. So I think this is still, if you feel that you don't have enough ADA in your portfolio, I think this is good price point to accumulate, or at least to put some of your money into ADA. And of course, because ADA is going down, we can expect that a lot of coins within Cardano ecosystem will go down as well. And that's exactly what happened. We looked previously at CardStarter. I mean, that was performing really nicely. If you look at last, say, 30 days, we had highs of above $30. Let's even look at 90 days. So I started talking about CardStarter when it was somewhere in the $15 to $20 range, somewhere in that area. Then we had this really nice move up, which coincided with Cardano's move up into 30s or so. And now we are back down to, well, barely above $10. It's worth remembering that CardStarter's all-time high was over $80. And again, that was before the release of smart contracts on Cardano. So I think there's a very good chance that we exceed this all-time high in the next few months. Considering that the current price is only around $11 or $12, well, I think there's pretty good likelihood that we can do that CardStarter can do about 10x from now. And in fact, at the current price point, I think I'll be adding more of it to my bags, because yeah, that's one of the projects I'm really bullish on. I'm massively bullish on whole Cardano ecosystem. And I think this is currently massively undervalued project. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth getting more. We have Charlie 3. I mentioned it a few times before, and I also said a few times that I was a bit unsure about investing in it because the price was already quite high. That was, I think, when it was around $3 or so, and its all-time high was $4.20. Well, now it's down to $1.37. I think that's much better price point and has very low market cap, only 22 million. Charlie 3, it's an oracle within the Cardano ecosystem. So again, I think it's a project with a lot of potential, with such low market cap and being significantly below its all-time high. I think it's definitely worth considering adding this to your bags. And then we have OccamFi, which I invested in a while ago. This one's been a bit different. It's been actually pretty stable in that $8 to $10 range. And again, it's one of the projects I'm quite bullish on. This one is down only around 50%, from its all-time high. Just under 100 million market cap, so again, it's a relatively small altcoin. I think there is a potential here, but yeah, you of course don't want to spread yourself too thinly over too many projects. But that's one project I've been investing in for a while, so I'm certainly waiting patiently to see what's going to happen. But currently, I think both Charlie 3 and CardStarter are basically, they're just massively undervalued at the current stage, so I'm definitely going to be adding more of those coins. And it's also worth mentioning that even very popular gaming related coins took quite a bit of a dip in recent days. Engine is currently $1.40, which presents pretty good buying opportunity. It was almost $4 a few months ago. And crypto gaming is pretty hot at the moment. There is very good chance that it will only be picking up, so that may be a good coin to invest in. Axie Infinity, which had absolutely crazy weeks and months recently. Well, it dipped, but well, it's down almost 40% from its all-time high, which was only a couple of weeks ago. But I'm not sure whether it's the best investment at the moment. I think it's a solid investment, but I think there are probably better projects to invest in terms of projected ROI rather than the quality of the project itself. The project is solid, but essentially, if you're only looking at 2 to 3x gain, then well, you may as well just put your money in Bitcoin, because it's quite safe to assume that Bitcoin will do 2 to 3x in this market cycle. So any altcoins you're looking at should be at least 5x, 10x or more. Otherwise, you may just play it safe, stay with Bitcoin, ETH, maybe Cardano or something else. Altura, this one I'm massively bullish on. I started talking about it a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I think it was around somewhere here, I think, early September. It was certainly below 2 cents. Recently it hit its all-time high above 6 cents, so that was nice, 3x in a couple of weeks. Again, I'm massively bullish on it. It's a combination of NFTs and gaming, and it's on Binance Smart Chain, so basically lower fees than Ethereum. I think it has a lot going for it. If you go to their website, you can see that their market cap is only around 35 million, so again, very low market cap. I think this can still easily do 10x from the current price level. So that's definitely worth investing in. So yeah, sorry if it was all a bit chaotic, just some general thoughts about current market, the dip we had today, and my thoughts about few coins. But I think there are some really good buying opportunities at the moment. I think the market is strong overall. If we look at current total hash rate, well, that's on a consistent move up, even though we had those dips recently. Any dips we had this one a couple of weeks ago and the one today, they were all scooped up quite quickly. And as you can see, actually both wicks hit roughly same level, around $43,000. So there is still very bullish sentiment in the market, even though we had those couple of bumps. Well, it was always expected that we'll have some bumps on the way up. So I think it's definitely a good moment to invest more in Bitcoin, ETH, Cardano. I think the current prices are pretty good. Chainlink. It's a good accumulation level for all those coins. And of course, investing in those top 5, top 10, top 20 coins, the risk is relatively low, well, at least for crypto. So of course you cannot expect 10x gains from the current prices, but depending on which coin you go for, it's certainly something between 3x to 5x is doable, and you're playing it relatively safe. And in case of some of them like ADA, well, you can also stake it, which will earn you interest while you're waiting for the market to pick up. But I think it's also a really good time to be picking up some of those altcoins, the ones, in my view, especially the ones within Cardano ecosystem. I would also look within Polkadot ecosystem. I think there are some great buying opportunities there. Polkadot's didn't have as much of a pump in the recent days as many other coins. It went up. I mean, that was of course summer, that was rubbish. It went up a bit, but it was relatively small movement and certainly nowhere near its previous all-time high. Both Polkadot and coins within the ecosystem, I think, are are still a bit undervalued and still have a lot of potential. So yeah, I'm feeling still very optimistic about the current market situation. Those bumps are not great when they happen, but they do have to happen. It's just part of investing in crypto. We have those nice massive pumps and really healthy gains. Well, every now and then we have to have a bit of a drop, and if anything, well, that's a great opportunity to accumulate more of the coins we are interested in. So yeah, that's it from me for today. I hope you found this video useful. If you enjoyed these videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. As always, if you have any thoughts, please do let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.